So while layouts are useful, we still need to learn one more thing in order to get the most out of our layouts, and that is frames. So we see in PowerPoint's got quite a complex layout, but actually we've got this big panel at the top, we've got a panel down the side and a panel in the middle. These are all frames, and frame lets us add widgets on top of them. So let's start programming and then make a bit more sense. So what we want to do is we want to create our first frame. And now normally what I'll do is I'll do frame equals frame, and then I'll apply it to the window. I'm still going to do that, but instead of calling this frame, I'm going to call this top frame because I want this one to appear at the very top. Okay, so window, and I'm also just going to apply a quick color to this so we can see it, because as default, frames are just clear white and you won't be able to see them unless there's anything inside of them, which makes them quite useful for layouts. And then we just want to do top frame dot pack, and I'm going to pack this to the top, so sides equal top, and I'm also going to do fill in the X as well. So if I were to do that, nothing would happen because there's nothing inside of it, so the frame would be empty, so there'd be nothing for it to see. So all we want to do is quickly just go and add something to it. So instead of this label being attached to the window, we're going to attach it to the top frame, and we can run it. And you'll see we've got our top frame here with our label inside. So let's add a new frame now. So just going to copy and paste that, and we're going to change this to left frame. If you're making a more complex program, you might want to actually name what this frame does. This might be the properties pane or anything like that. We're going to change this to blue. I'm going to fill the Y instead. That's going to be to the left. And we're going to add our buttons to this one instead. So our buttons are now going to be attached to the left frame instead of the window. And again, if we run it, just check everything's right. You'll see that we've got one frame here, and then we've got our next one here, and then this could be our main section, which could be another pane. And what's really good about the way we've set this up is if we resize the window in any way, let me just do it, there we go, these will fill all the way along. So this is really good way of setting up your frames so they fit the window size at all times. Now, if we want a fixed layout, and we talked about this when we looked a bit more at place, we can actually have it so we can set the exact size of our frames. So how do we do that? So let's come up to our top frame, and let's set the width, and we'll set the width equal to 20, and then we'll set the height, and we'll also make this equal to 20. Okay. Now, on its own, you'd think that would work and it would set the width and height, but unfortunately, Tkinter's really annoying in the sense of it will try and resize that straight away and it will ignore what you've just put in. So we need to make sure that it's not doing that. So after we've added our pack, we're just going to go back through it and we're going to do pack underscore and propagate. And this will mean that I'm going to set 0, which means equal false, and it means that it's not going to try and do that resizing, which means we should get a frame that's exactly 20 by 20. Oh, just get rid of your fill X, and that will hopefully work now, because if we're trying to fill X, it will try and cover the whole space. And we've got something that's 20 by 20, and actually it's hidden behind our label so we can't see it. So if we'd come back through again and we'll make it bigger this time, and we'll say 120 by 200, and we'll run this again, this should be a bit more noticeable. So again, the only time you'd probably want to set fixed layouts like this is if you were not able to resize your screen, because as soon as I resize this, I'll see the rest of it. And you also see that it sort of interfered with our side panel here as well. So Be really careful when setting frames to a set size. I only recommend it if you've got a fixed window size, because as soon as we resize it, that changes and it just looks a bit awful.